a lot of younger people are scared. They talk about going to college and finishing having a large student loan, and they don't have money to go out and have fun either. It's not like they're finished with college and they're looking for a relationship and they want to settle down and have kids. Both men and women that are in that college age group, they're a lot of them finish school and they go home and live with their parents, even if they find a job right away. And then they find a job right away and they're making good money, but then they're paying for their large student loans. And if they even want to go out and have fun at all, they don't have also money to pay for their own apartment, like unless they get a roommate or two roommates, and then having a car payment and all these things. So it's not like, I think it's really hurting the younger generations so much, this inflation, because even though they're making decent money, they worked hard all their life and then they don't feel comfortable even starting a family because you can't even barely take care of yourself, even with a large salary. So it's not just for older people, it's for people like me who have kids already, who want to preserve something for them as they grow older. It makes me worried, and that's one reason why I got into Bitcoin too. When I started asking these questions, it wasn't just for me because I wanted to make more money. It's about your kids. It's about thinking about their future and how to invest your money in the best way. I was thinking about my house and how much my house appreciated since we bought it. We bought our home in 2013. And when you see how much it's appreciated, especially if you're in a neighborhood that's been, growing and, good schools, the value is going up. But it's really, I tell people this too, is it's not really that your house is going up in value. It's that your dollar has lost value. So it takes more dollars to buy that house. So it scared me because thinking about how much our house has gone up in price, by the time my kids ever need to get a house, I'm like, how much is a house going to cost? Like, well, how will I ever help them? So it worried me having kids already. So it's hard for any age group. So, you worry about this inflation from any standpoint in life. So it's just really good I love that I can talk to regular people, hear about their real problems, which a lot of times the root cause of a lot of these actual problems people have is inflation and the price of the cost of living, and how hard the world has gotten. People aren't enjoying their life as much. People are um, feel like they're stuck, they're trapped, they're kind of a little depressed, and I'm kind of their therapist, so they're trying to tell me about um, how they're feeling, and that's why it's a great transition into Bitcoin. So I'm glad that I have a job where I can, spread some of this knowledge and then also share my channel, which is great because so many of these people talk about their journey, and it can maybe reach somebody who doesn't fully get it, but then they can hear my show and resonate with somebody that they've heard speak. So because there aren't a lot of careers or jobs where you actually get to have a social conversation with people. So it's kind of perfect because I love talking so much and I love talking about Bitcoin.
Then a podcast and hairdresser is an actual perfect combination.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
also
Who would have thought?
interesting. Yeah, it's also interesting. I thought about that recently, actually, because I was at a marriage from a friend, and it's it's like most friends actually aren't married, even though when I look at my father's generation or look at the generation before, most people actually were already in the kind of marriage age, kids age, slowly when they get to my age. I'm now 26, soon 27, like getting to like in three, oh gosh, in 3 years I will be 30. So it's like in that age, in my father's generation, definitely in my grandfather's generation, kids and marriage was already like kind of either on track or like already done. And now most of my friends, even the friends that are 30 or a little bit over 30, most of them aren't married yet. Most of them don't have kids. And I feel like the broken money system has a lot to do with that. University is taking longer, student loan debts to pay off is longer. People don't want to get kids if they still have like a big student loan debt and they want to get to that. And then you have to work a few years to get it off. Then marriage is kind of hard. And then you can only get to kids. So I don't know where I want to go with that, but it's just something that I observed that building a family in general takes longer and longer time for people like that. I don't know if you see the same thing, but I see that very uh, prominently in my generation and my peer group. I mean, my peer group is now Bitcoiners, but like my previous peer group, kind of.
Yeah. I mean, it's a huge problem, and that's why when you hear about these declining birth rates, you wonder why that's happening. And a lot of it has to do with if you're not comfortable or successful or feeling secure in your own life, you are afraid to bring anyone into the world. You're thinking, how am I going to take care of anybody if I can't take care of myself? You know, even your own future is shaky and uncertain. So it's definitely something that at a base layer it destroys society, you know, because it can cause a huge decline like this. So I mean, when you start to have problems like that, like low birth rate, it's like kind of the decline of civilization, you know. So you have to have something that can fix that. And you know, that's why that saying, fix the money, fix the world, you know, is so important. Because, you know, yes, there's a lot of problems in the world, but a lot of problems can be solved with the money being better, you know, sound money where you aren't stolen from. So yeah, the future definitely is bright with Bitcoin, and Bitcoin gives people hope. And that's something that you want to share with people. Like when I saw that client come in that put his money into his from his 401k into the Bitcoin treasury company, he had this brightness in his eyes. He had like this, you could tell that he was fired up. He looked excited, you know, and you could tell that the feeling in people and their energy is changed, you know. So he looked like he was very different, you know. He definitely looked like he was hopeful for the future, you know, for his kids or for anybody else that he could help one day by making this decision. So it's nice to see that, and it's nice to see that you have that kind of an impact on somebody, and even people that you have on your show could have that impact on somebody. After he heard the show with Lawrence Lepard, he was buying the book, The Big Print, and he was like, I'm definitely reading that next. That's my next step. So I was so happy for him. So I can't wait to hear, you know, as time goes by. He even was, not only did he send or, you know, convert his money into Bitcoin, he can't wait to get more. He has other accounts that don't use Bitcoin treasury companies yet. I think some of them are still, they don't offer it. So he's in the process of converting those to a different one of his companies that does do it so that he can get more Bitcoin through that. So he's like trying to transfer his funds because he knows that he's not done. This isn't, you know, this isn't it for him. He's not happy enough. He's like, this is definitely the way, and I need to put more of what I have saved into it. So it wasn't like he was finished. It was great to see.
Yeah, this constant feeling of like I need more Bitcoin.
He had
I'm
major
not done
FOMO.
stacking.
Yeah, he was not. He said, he goes, I think he even used the word FOMO, and he was an older guy. And I'm like, he's like, I don't want to miss out. I need more. He's like, if I'm not spending it, why keep it in something that isn't going to grow as fast? And he really just started to understand, because when you understand the root cause of the problems in the system, you know, it's manipulation, it's theft, it's greed, you know, and Bitcoin is a shield for all of that. So I just love to see it.
Really, really cool. Because we talked a little bit about treasury companies, and they are kind of controversial sometimes in the Bitcoin sphere because people are like, oh, I don't like them. Individuals should own Bitcoin. And then they're like, oh, of course, it's a natural progression. What's your take on Bitcoin treasury companies?
Yeah, so I feel the same way for myself personally. If I have money that I could save, I'd like to save directly in Bitcoin and store in cold storage. And, you know, that's my take. That's me personally. But it depends on where you are in your life. For people that are younger and they don't have pension funds and 401ks or any asset like that, or in any sort of system like that, then just Bitcoin directly is the only way to go, and self custody is the only way to go. But for people, I can't say I argue against Bitcoin treasury companies, because it is like this Trojan horse that now that you open up this access to the Bitcoin system through traditional finance, now you have trillions of dollars in capital that can flow into Bitcoin through that. For people that are stuck in a system that feel like they would never get Bitcoin otherwise, if they had to sell fully, get out of it, that 40% tax hit is huge. So people don't really feel like, even if they knew Bitcoin was better, they can't justify paying that large of a tax when they're not ready to retire yet, or they're not ready to sell that entire savings that they've had in this traditional system all this time. So it's a great you know road. It's like a little, like a pathway into Bitcoin through traditional finance. So it's important for people to have any kind of access. I'd rather have, if I had money in a 401k or a pension fund and they had MicroStrategy available, or I guess even BlackRock or Fidelity's funds or any of these, I would prefer to switch those over to a Bitcoin treasury company versus keeping it with the Magnificent Seven. So I think it's definitely nice to see. And if you're going to trust one of those companies, why not trust a Bitcoin treasury company? I'd rather have that than any other stock. So I know people. We know that Bitcoin is different because you become your own bank and you have your own, like, you control it. You could, nobody could stop you from accessing it like any other system. They can, but there is a reason for it, and it helps certain people. So if you're one of those people that's stuck in the stock market, in pension funds and 401ks, I think it's a great thing for those people.
And it unlocks, like, as you said, it unlocks not millions or billions, it unlocks trillions of capture capital and of the traditional financial system. If you look at the bond market, if you look at all the equity markets, the real estate market, a lot of that capital is there because it has to be there and it cannot really get out. And products like the option things of strategy with Stretch and Stride and all those things, but also other treasury companies or even ETFs, those are just money flowing machines to Bitcoin. And that's really interesting to see because we have those, I don't know, 300 trillion of equity, 400 trillion in real estate, and all those big buckets of money. And then we have this small dot of Bitcoin with 2 trillion. And you're like, how do we get all the money there? If people want to, if people like it or not, but we need those institutional flows to Bitcoin somehow. And I don't think individuals buying a DCA plan of like $50 a week will bring the trillions of dollars to the Bitcoin. It will be strategy buying billions of US dollars of Bitcoin every other week. That's a huge unlock, and there's just also capital that couldn't go outside of the system. That's just captured in the system, and you cannot get it out of there outside of treasury companies and BlackRock ETFs and all those things. And I'd rather have it in a Bitcoin ecosystem than a Fiat ecosystem, even though it's on Fiat rails. But Fiat rails in a Bitcoin ecosystem are better than Fiat rails and Fiat ecosystem. And that's
Right.
what kind of I want to get to.
Yeah, because otherwise it would just be stuck there, and it would never convert over. And you have to think about, majority of the wealth in the world is not with the younger generations. The majority of wealth in the world is with the older generation, with the boomer age group of people. And they hold a majority of it. That it's, even you think about the richest people that own the biggest corporations and all the politicians, they're all older people. They're not a lot of young people that have this level of wealth. It's a very small percentage. So yeah, the huge amount of capital is with older people, and those older people have somewhere to put it where they won't have to get taxed hard like that.
Absolutely. You also have, I want to show this to you because I just realized it today. I don't know what you think about that, but I realized today that I have been showing off your group for some reason on my podcast a lot. And I think nobody really noticed, but I seen it today. I always share my screen like that. And if
Uh-huh.
you see here, for some reason, your group got off over here.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah, I think because if you have a website and you like scroll it around, sometimes things end up because like Twitter I already have here.
Yeah.
Just one of the story because literally I never realized it, but I edited the podcast today. I'm like, oh wait, I have Stacy on. Oh wait, paranoid Bitcoin. Why do I have that here?
That's so funny. Yeah, it's like bookmarked on there.
So I wanted to show you this. I
Mhm.
made subtle advertisement for your group that I haven't even realized that I do.
That's amazing. Yeah, and that name of that group, I felt like it was even more relevant lately when when I had something that happened with our friend. We have a friend in the group who, he lost all his Bitcoin, and we are hurting for him, and we're so sad that this happened to him because he's been in Bitcoin for a long time. And it had nothing to do with Bitcoin being hacked. Anytime something like this happens, it has zero to do with Bitcoin itself having anything go wrong with it. But it made me even more paranoid. So the name of my group being Paranoid Bitcoin Anarchists is even more relevant because I remain paranoid, and I just want to make sure people, that phrase isn't a bad thing. It just means be careful. Be careful out there because there's people out there trying to manipulate you and steal from you. And it's not like any Bitcoin wallet can be hacked, but um, he he lost it because he downloaded a wallet from a trusted site from the App Store. So he trusted it. And I just wanted to bring up that your seed phrase is your lifeline. Like your seed phrase is your key to your vault, to your Bitcoin vault when you hold it in cold storage. And this download that he downloaded from the App Store asked him for his seed phrase. And because it was the App Store, he trusted it and he just thought, I guess I should put it in. He wasn't thinking whatever happened, but that should be a red flag for people. And I just want to remind people that never share your seed phrase. If you want to download or order a new device sometimes or download a different app, for an exchange, if it asks you for a seed phrase, you could create a new wallet. And then if you want to transact, you could send Bitcoin there. But inputting your seed phrase into especially anything online, a device, I would be ultra paranoid about it because this was a phishing attack. This person asked for his seed phrase and they drained his wallet, and he had a lot of Bitcoin in it. So it was really devastating.
Yeah, your seed phrase is not like other than you losing your hardware wallet or restoring your hardware wallet, your seed phrase should never be entered anywhere. Like you stamp it on titanium and that's it. There it is, and then you don't put it back online. You don't make a photo on there that it goes on iCloud or any of those things. I've seen weird shit over
Yeah.
the time, and I've in the beginning I've done it myself. Like I had my seed phrase, and I changed it since then. But I have from the beginning my seed phrase in the iCloud. I made pictures of it. I'm like, oh, nobody will
Yeah.
ever find it. And I'm like, of course, like AI will find it. Like if
Mhm.
someone hacks in my account, goes through my photos with AI, they will have my seed phrase within a day.
Gosh.
So um,
So that's
I
that's why when you talked about stamping it, if you go ahead with what you're saying.
No, I was just saying, like, it's so important to make that point abundantly clear to people that haven't gotten around to it, because it's like in the beginning, like people trust in systems a lot, and yes, we have great fiat guardrails, and those systems work as long as they work. Like they till your bank account is frozen, everything is fine, and then you have a trusted system. So in Austria, I have a lot of this problem with my friends, orange billing them with self custody, that they trust the politicians, they trust the banks because nothing ever happened. I have a bank account and nothing ever happened to my bank account. Like I've been outside of their being slow and bureaucratic, but outside of that, they've never done anything to me. So I have no reason to not trust them, but I know better. That's why I don't trust them, and that's why I really be just on Bitcoin. But most people trust them, so it's really hard to get people across. And then they come into Bitcoin and they trust the brokerages, the exchanges, and they also just trust apps. And they're like, "Hey, yeah, like I have my seed phrase here. Like, oh, it's here on paper. I'll just like, oh, okay, like da 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 da," and then they type it in, and oh yeah, Bitcoin
Yeah.
gone.
So don't trust, yeah, there here you're trusting, you think the App Store, Apple, and you think Apple is so secure, you never have hacks happening to iPhones. You think Macs are very safe, but this is something that I wasn't aware of that Apple would have phishing attacks. But again, if anyone asks for your seed phrase, you never, ever, ever share it ever. Like that is a no no. So I like that you even brought up the whole stamping thing because I love Microseed. I had seen this company before and I'm very interested in it because I have my seed phrase written down. You're not supposed to, like you said, have it on a computer. And you always worry about it when you write it down. You worry that, I can't write it in pencil. If I put it in pen, will it disintegrate over time? So you try to do something with it. Like, do you keep it in a sleeve, like a plastic sleeve or something, and I always say like keep it in multiple places, like don't have it in one spot where you might lose it. So you always know you know where it is. But the thing is that I've even tried to get metal plates before because I've thought about this. Like I've tried to buy those metal plates with a little engraving pen that you can, and it just looks like I'm just like scratching it with my nail. It's so terrible. Like I'm trying to like, I feel like I'm a caveman writing on a rock wall, like trying to like just scratch it in there, and it looks like chicken scratch. It's terrible. So it's like the faintest looking little lines, and I don't even think I could read it. So I think that was a terrible solution. And I always wondered about a better way to sort of, save your seed phrase. And then you think about engraving options, like there's that, things remembered or places where they can get things engraved. But then you're going to give access to your seed phrase for somebody who possibly knows about Bitcoin to an engraving company. So you can't do that. So I love this option of microseed, and I had actually seen them at the Bitcoin conference this year when I went there. So I saw it in person, the kit and everything. And that is definitely something that's a great idea because it's this little, disc, and it comes with all the letters, and you can just stamp the entire seed phrase on this thing. So that way it's a small thing, but you can hide it. You can have multiple, of those hidden wherever you want to hide them. And it's just a great way to store it where it won't get erased, so I just love that.
Yeah, thank you so much. They will love the shout out on the podcast. I think it's really a cool company, and it's also I like the optionality, and I know the team there, and they will come out with a lot of different options now, and I don't want to make it an infomercial for people, but it's like you can stamp your whole seed phrase on one washer, but you can also, and this will come in future iterations, and I'm spoiling that a little bit. We will make developments where you can make in 12 washers also 2 words per washer, or if you want, you can even make 1 word per washer and have like 24 washers, and you put it in a capsule. We're kind of developing that all now, so we're kind of wanting. We want to really make this thing like a once in a you buy it once and you never really have to buy any other backup solution, because I do a lot with Bitcoin. I test out a lot, and because I have to test out a lot, like there's a lot of like metal stamping and then it's like, oh no, I have to buy another one for $50, $100, $150. And you're like, no, I buy it once and then I can just stamp it myself at home, and then I just buy a washer for 10 cents at my local store. Or if I want to have titanium, which does make sense in certain situations, then I buy it for not 10 cents but like a few euros or a few dollars at Amazon, at the microseed store, or like maybe there's some hardware store I can even buy it from. And that's basically why I really like it. But the main part is because I want to go always back to basics. It's like don't have it on exchanges. If you have the option, put it on a hardware wallet. If you have a lot, look at multi-signature, and then you should make your keys backed up. So like your seed phrase should be somewhere where your local device is not, because that device can just get ruined. Like
Yeah.
you can lose that whole device in an instant. Like coffee gets over it. Like
Yeah.
someone drives over. Like the hardware wallet is not that safe, but you need it. Yeah.
Yeah, and even the hardware wallet, I love that, even if it does get destroyed, you could just order a new one and then put those words in, and you have whatever you've saved back. So it's not like it's ever gone as long as you have those words. But I love that there's just a better way, because I just always felt like, I know that they're important to keep safe. And no matter how much Bitcoin you have, especially as it grows in the future, even if you've been saving any of it, but you just want to take full control and make sure nobody, has control over what you've saved. Um, Whatever the amount is, it's nice to be able to put it somewhere where you control it. You have ultimate access, but you also have ultimate responsibility. You have to know that you're keeping it, that you're saving those words, and those words are your password.
Thank you for watching this video. This was only a snippet of the podcast. And if you want to watch the full episode and get all of the context of this episode, you can click right here or here. Oh, maybe also here.